Rosh Hashanah, everybody. Good Yontif. Again, a sweet and happy new year to you all. So during these high holy days, we're going to talk about the most important issues facing us as a Jewish people and as Jewish adjacent family members. We're going to look unflinchingly and courageously at anti-Semitism and Israel, the traumas that we're dealing with as Jews, and the challenges before us as members of society today. And we're going to open up, during these high holy days, we're going to open up to our deepest fears, our deepest concerns over the past year, and turn to our hopes, turn to our dreams at the cusp of this new year. And that's not enough. We're going to explore our Jewish and spiritual identities and our purposes and work in this world at the start of this new year and at this tumultuous time in our society. Yet, before we dive deep into all that tomorrow morning and during Yom Kippur next week, I think it's important for us to not lose sight of a vital quality that's going to build our resilience for the year ahead and give us hope for a better tomorrow, which is what Rosh Hashanah is all about. This quality can keep us strong as we begin a new year and can nurture our faith in tomorrow. I've spoken about it before, and it's valuable to emphasize tonight, to remind us again and again that we simply cannot live without it, no matter the conditions in which we find ourselves. I am talking about the profound mitzvah of simcha, the spiritual quality of joy. The psalmist wrote, "Amid shouts of joy, to the sound of the shofar, the Holy One ascends." Amid shouts of joy, to the sound of the shofar, the Holy One, God, ascends. So too, joy allows us to ascend each and every day of our lives. Joy allows us to transcend and transform any pain, any challenge, any difficulty that we face. It is the joy of being alive. It's the joy of knowing the tremendous gift, the gift of life. As difficult as things are in the world right now, as difficult as they are, even during this momentous moment of suffering in our society and in the Middle East, even through any pain we are experiencing in our own personal lives, joy is needed. Joy is essential. This is why the psalmist also wrote, "Those who sow in tears shall reap in joy." Indeed, it is because we have shed so many tears over the past several years, that we can turn to joy, hoping to reap and harvest some of it right now at the start of this new year. To be joyful, even during hardship. This is the Jewish way. After all, when was it ever easy to be Jewish? When was it ever easy? When has that ever happened throughout our history? Yet our people stood strong. We remain resilient. Our ancestors recorded in the Jewish Bible dozens of different words occurring in hundreds of instances, expressions which mean joy, celebrate, cheer, take pleasure in, delight in, be glad, exult, make merry, burst into song, jump for joy, and literally cry for joy. These expressions of joy are not just reserved for human beings. The natural world itself is meant to participate in this sublime, universal experience of joy, delight, and exaltation. The psalmist wrote, "Let the heavens rejoice and the earth be glad. Let the sea roar and all in its fullness. The field be joyful and all that's in it. That all the trees of the forest will rejoice before the eternal." This is how strong and prevalent joy and gladness are in Judaism. I know a number of us tonight have family ancestry that we can trace back to the villages and the cities of Eastern Europe. Show of hands, who's got ancestry from Eastern Europe? Okay, a number of folks. If you're not from Eastern Europe or other places, this idea probably occurred there too. Now, undoubtedly, many of our grandparents and our great-grandparents and great-great-grandparents participated in forms of Hasidic Jewish life back in the old country. This popular movement, Hasidism, within Judaism, swept across Eastern Europe in the 18th and the 19th centuries, and they became firmly established there. Well, the Hasidic tradition took this biblical model of joy and life, and they brought it to remarkable heights. As we all know, there is joyful Hasidic dancing, including with those wine bottles on their heads. Have you guys seen that? That's pretty joyful. There's joyful Hasidic music and singing. I think we're doing some of it tonight and throughout the High Holy Days. There is joyful Hasidic drinking. The average Hasid can drink most people under the table. With me, it's not even close. Not even close. It's over before it begins. Yet more importantly, of course, there is a joyful approach to Judaism itself. I think one of the great Hasids, Rabbi Nachman of Breslov, articulated this spirit best when Rabbi Nachman said, always remember, joy is not merely incidental to your spiritual quest. It is vital. It is vital. Vital to our spiritual life. It's vital to our entire life. It's vital to our physical being, our mental well-being, our emotional well-being, our social well-being, and our spiritual well-being. A life without some joy and gladness in it, well, that's half a life. At the very most, that's half a life. It's a shadowed version of living. And anybody who does not experience joy in their life, I pray that they soon do, because they deserve it. It is our birthright as human beings. It is our birthright as children of God on this earth. Unless we think that joy can only be experienced when things are going well, we need only remember that joy flourished and perhaps reached those unprecedented heights in those humble, often impoverished Jewish villages of Eastern Europe. Just think of Tevye in Fiddler on the Roof, right? He was not a rich man, as he famously sang, and he dreamed of being otherwise. Yet we know, if you saw Fiddler on the Roof and you know the music, what Tevye lacked in material wealth, he more than made up for in joy and in friendship and family love and a deep, deep connection to the divine. If he were a rich man, he was. He was, after all, rich in what truly matters in life. And like with Tevye, true joy is not free of pain. It's not free of difficulty or suffering. In fact, joy grows out of it. It grows out of it. This paradoxical truth is taught perhaps better than anybody. Hope I said that right. Did I say that right, Arlene? This paradoxical truth is taught perhaps better than anybody by one of my favorite spiritual teachers, a blessed memory, Thich Nhat Hanh, the great Vietnamese poet and writer and spiritual teacher. Came to California many times. I saw him in Pasadena. Thousands of people lined up to be in his presence and hear him speak. Anybody heard of Thich Nhat Hanh? Raise your hand if you heard of Thich Nhat Hanh. Several people. Anybody hear him speak at live? I feel blessed. He used to come to Pasadena every High Holy Days. I'd get nervous every time because I don't have time to do this, but I couldn't miss him. So, nominated by Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. for the Nobel Peace Prize. Thich Nhat Hanh exquisitely wrote that the beautiful lotus flower, which exists in warm freshwater environments, does not grow on marble. Doesn't grow on marble. Can't, of course. Flowers can't grow on marble. Yet even beyond normal soil, a lotus flower can only grow in the mud. In mud. Something so beautiful, so fresh, so fragrant, so vital as a lotus flower blooms and is nourished by the muck and the mud in ponds and rivers, lakes and swamps and wetlands. At least that's what ChatGPT told me the other day. What do I know about lotus flowers? So too, true joy flourishes in our lives, not because of the absence of the muck and the mud of our existence, but because of its presence. Because the pain, because the difficulty, because the suffering are there. As the psalmist taught us, those who sow in tears shall reap in joy. I do believe it's true. At least that's been my experience. Has that been your experience in some way? Okay, something to think about. Such is the nature of life. Such is the nature of life where we can appreciate the light more because we've experienced the darkness. We value warmth more because we have felt the sting of cold. We feel the full depth of joy more when we've known despair. In life, we cannot have one without the other. This is why now is precisely the time to speak of and to cultivate joy. This is the day the Eternal has made. Let us rejoice and be glad, the psalmist wrote. By the way, I keep saying the psalmist. It's like different poets, but there are many of them in the book of Psalms. They talk about the importance of joy. This is the day the Eternal has made. Let us rejoice and be glad. We rejoice and we're glad when we still have a day in which to live. We rejoice and we're glad for the countless moments of goodness that still remain in our lives, no matter our challenges. We rejoice and we're glad because of the promise and the hope of a new day and a new year in which things can get better. So as we continue to experience the many difficulties in our society and in the Middle East and in the world right now, and perhaps in our own personal lives, and as we care and support those who are suffering, who we know, we also take the time to renew ourselves and renew our joy so that we have more to give. Research shows that joyful people are more generous and altruistic than the joyless. I'll share you my research later. Why is that? Why are joyful people more generous and altruistic than the joyless? Because they want to share their joy with others. They want to contribute to others' well-being, and they have more to give. So in this new year, may we walk upon the psalmist's glad earth and joyful field. May you and I marvel at a clear blue expanse of day, which we saw today if you were looking up at the sky. May we marvel at a burst of brilliant sunset here in Southern California. May we gaze up at a starlit night and smell the scent of a fragrant flower. Anybody have a lotus flower near them? We got other flowers, right? Sunflowers. What are those purple ones? Bougainvillea? Is that what that is? Is that a flower? Bougainvillea? Flower? Flower? There we go. We got plenty of those. May we smell the scent of a fragrant bougainvillea flower. May we listen to a beautiful piece of music, which we are blessed by this entire High Holy Days with Cantor Allison and with the choir and with Sandy and with Nick, who will be here for Yom Kippur, and a bunch of other folks. May we enjoy tasting delicious food. May we rejoice in countless ways that we can each and every day, for this is the day that God has made. Let us rejoice and be glad. May we rejoice in the love of family. May we connect with friends. May we be with community. Source of our greatest joys, family, friends, and community. Source of our greatest joys, I do believe. May we give and receive love and experience the deepest joys that life has to offer us. For this is the day, this is a new year that God has made. Let us open our hearts, let us open our minds, let us open our souls to it, so that we can rejoice, so that we can be glad. Wishing you a good and sweet and joyful new year. Shana Tova, everybody.